everybody. Welcome back to Suspenders Unbuttoned Podcast. My name is Sarah.
And I'm Julie, and we're excited to welcome Sue Zarco Kramer. Welcome, Sue.
Hey, nice to see you guys.
It's nice to meet you, Sue, and we're excited to learn all about everything that you're doing. Divorce is not uncommon, but what you're doing around it really is. So, do you want to start by talking about your the new comedy, Swipe?
Sure. Swipe NYC has been the impetus to where I am now with Divorcee Doula. I'm a divorcee, and when I got divorced, I have a child, so I became pretty much a single mom, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing when it came to online dating.
Yeah.
When people even brought up online dating, I was like a fish out of water, had no idea what to do. And so I would go on these dates, and like now I learn, or I even coach people, that when you meet these people online, you start a dialogue, you see that they feel safe, you make a coffee date, you don't make it too long, you don't want to take too much time. But I would be like, hi, do you want to have dinner? Sure, let's have dinner. And then I'd be like stuck for like 3 hours with somebody that I'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm having dinner with this person. And by the way, they made themselves out to be like 6'4" and kind of cool, and it ends up that I'm meeting, the head of the Lollipop Club. I mean, literally. And so I'd come home and I'd write leader of the Lollipop Club, and I'd write a journal entry of every date that I had. And that went on for years, so that I didn't feel bad about the dates, and then I turned them into creative writing. And so I'd be like, April 4th, Thursday night, cocktails with Tickle Me Elmo. And, a guy who tried to tickle me within like seconds of meeting me. I'd write, Friday night, The Sniffer, which was a guy who just like met me and 10 minutes in just started sniffing and saying that he could actually sniff pheromones and that he would know right away and that he felt that we should be married. Which of course, that's what you do. 10 minutes, you sniff someone's neck, if you should get.
Yeah.
So I wrote
Totally normal.
Totally normal. And so I wrote this journal, and I, at one point, was like, oh my God, I have so many entries. I should turn this into something. And so I had 156 dates at that point. And people would be like blown away, like, did you say 156 dates? And I'm like, yeah, because now I have it down. I could have a coffee, I could have a walk, I could have 5 dates a week. And so, but I wrote about everyone. And so I created Swipe NYC, which is this film that is a short that is being turned into a series that stars Lisa Edelstein, who basically plays me. Bridget Moynihan plays her Pilates instructor. Richard Schiff from The West Wing and The Good Doctor plays a date of hers. And then a huge slew from David Walton, who was Dr. Sam on the Zooey Deschanel show. Who's a punk. And somebody, I just had the greatest cast ever. And so we got it together. I wrote the script. It flew. The words just flew off the page. I wrote it in 10 days. I gave it to Richard Schiff, and I was like, I don't know if you're going to want it, but could you read it? We're old friends. And he said, where and when? He read it I said, just take your time. If it takes a couple weeks, it's fine. He called me an hour later and said, where and when? And I was like, is it good? And he's like, it's fucking great. It's like fucking great. And I was like,
I love it.
Let's go. And so then I called Bridget, who I'd worked with on Gray Matters, which was my feature, and said I wrote a part for her. And she said, okay, let me read it. It might take me a couple weeks. And I said, okay. She read it overnight and said, I'm in. And then we went to Lisa Edelstein, and she was like, I love this. This part is amazing. And so we finished giving it to my favorite people, and we were off to the races. In 2 months, we were shooting on Principal Photography Day, and all of this within 2 months. It was unheard of. And we all shot it in my neighborhood in Brooklyn, and I had wonderful producers helping me. And it was, pull up your bootstraps film school kind of way, like where I asked all the bars in Brooklyn and my neighbors, and used my car and my daughter's room, and like all of these locations that I had to pull out of my hat. My Pilates place, that Bridget was the Pilates instructor. And from that was amazing in that we went through a year of film festivals, which during that time was the strike. So we couldn't do really much of anything else, right? So we would go to every film festival, and we won most of them. It was just one win after another. From our first at Mann's Chinese Theater, we won Best Film, to our last, which was the North Fork Television Film Festival, that we won Best Pilot. So from our first to our last, we won, and now we're turning it into a series, which is very exciting. But what came out of it was that in every single film festival, at least 50 people would line up to talk to me and say, "You just gave me hope." They'd be crying, and it's a comedy, and they were like, "How do we be you? You just gave me like this incredible inspiration that I could date again. I could have a chapter 2. It's okay to have laughter during the dates that go bad. You're totally giving me help. You're giving me hope. And can I talk to you separately from the film festival? Can I text you on like Instagram?" So I started getting this big following on Instagram of people being like, "Can you look at my dating profile? Can you tell me what I should wear to this date? Could I?" And I was always answering everybody while writing my like 4 projects that I'm writing in Hollywood. Right. And I'd be like, "Oh yeah, sure. Let's FaceTime. What do you? Oh no, don't wear that to the. That's never good. No. Or like she'd be like, "He said this. Do you think this is a good answer?" And I'd be like, "No." Let's start with.
So you were honest, right?
Oh,
I love that.
So honest.
Yeah.
Or I'd say a big yes. Like, yes, this sounds like great. So I realized in December that that it was really a business that spun off of Swipe. And Divorcee Doula was launched.
Okay, this is amazing.
Yeah. So I love that from your short. Yeah, there's a series, and then there's a business. So let's start with, how far into development is the series?
The series is in, it's way into development, but it has 2 spokes. So I'm doing one offshoot of the series with Jessica Alba's company, and then I'm doing that is separate but is inspired by Swipe, and then I'm doing Swipe, kind of a new expanded version of the original Swipe.
Okay, so it's actually 2 different projects.
Those are 2 different projects, and I have 3 others that I'm simultaneously working on. I'm working on 5 projects at once, and I have no lunch, and I don't sleep.
Superwoman, yes. For sure. Okay, so you have these 2 projects that are related going on, and they're into development, but you're starting it, and your other 3 projects plus this new business. How are you even juggling this all?
Well, I always do this thing with my Divorcee Doula clients, or I've been getting some press, and I have these incredible empowerment partners like Bobby Brown and Caddis Glasses and Onda Beauty, and now Daryl Kay, the designer, and Sugar Cookies Lingerie. All these amazing businesses have come on board as empowerment partners. And they always say in the calls with their like teams, they always look at me on the Zoom and they go like this, "Wow, so how big is your staff?" And I always go like this. "Hi, I'm Janie. I run marketing. I do all the marketing." And then I go, "Hi, I'm Cheryl. I handle all of the advertising needs that we have and account billing." Like, I am a fucking one-woman show. with an assistant who I have freelance, whose name is Amelia and is incredible. But it's pretty much me and sometimes Amelia. And I'm doing it all. I literally am just, we as women, come on. We were born to do a lot. And so I juggle a lot of hats, and I kind of position my day in a way of like, meditating in the morning, exercising, doing the right healthy things, and then I go right into Divorcee Doula work, and then I go right into, Chapter Dose, which is the Jessica Alba show, and then I go right into Swipe, and it's just, it's my days go very quickly. But yeah, it's been amazing. Divorcee Doula, though, has been insanely gratifying. Like I cannot even begin to tell you how excited I am in a deep, profound way of what I am doing for men and women, mostly women. But the transformational wonder that I am seeing is just unreal, because I was them. I know what it's like to be on the floor in a fetal position after a divorce. I know what it's like to walk down the street when you see your neighbors and they do the whole don't want to catch the divorce virus, which is always like, it's so good to see you. It's so good to see you. It's really great to see you. It's so great to see you. So I know what that's like, and I wanted to help people, so I do a full makeover with them from a directorial point of view, a divorcee, one of you or one of us point of view, that I do these 5 services that are all about rebooting and rebirth and empowerment and rejuvenation and owning your body and your mind and your power and getting rid of any shame that comes with divorce, and a lot of positivity work and deep narrative work to kind of get rid of the old story, because I'm a storyteller,
Right.
and start writing the new one.
So you made this film and you had all these people coming up to you just going, I need your advice and all that stuff. So you began being a divorcee doula or divorce doula. And you are providing all these services. How do you connect with people who need your services?
They have been finding me on Instagram and on my website. So it's divorceedoula.com and Divorcee Doula on Instagram. They have found me through now word of mouth. I started working with this organization called Chief, which is the top CEOs of the world, of female CEOs in C-suite positions. A woman from Chief found me on LinkedIn. We connected as friends. Her name is Amy. She brought me in to Chief, and I did a speaker series at Chief, and now I did a field trip with Chief, and I took them on this full day last week of empowerment, which was our first virgin voyage of the Divorcee Doula field trip series. Which
The
I'm now
field
doing
trip.
I'm going to be doing one every other month.
Oh, okay. That was going to be my next follow-up question is, now that you've done the one, will there be more? So that's exciting.
Oh my God. I am so excited about the next one. And I was flipping out excited about the last one. I mean, we had the best time. We started out at Jones Road Beauty. They got full makeovers. Then we went to Onda, which is the best facial studio in New York City and clean beauty mecca that was owned by Naomi Watts and my friend Larissa Thompson, now just by Larissa, who's amazing. And they got eyebrow treatments and got full education on what would be perfect for their skin. Then we went to lunch, and then we went to a private lingerie studio that has the finest lingerie in all of New York, from London, Paris, and Italy. And it's only in a loft, a knock. It's like a speakeasy. You walk in, you go into this boudoir, and there you are, and you get to try on lingerie, and to see these women, from 10 women, from one being the shyest of shy to one being like, where I asked, does anyone want to show anybody what they're wearing when they come out of the dressing room? And it was like, 7 women going, no, and then like 3 women going, oh yeah, let me show you this. And I was like, and then once they came out, it inspired the others to come out, and then like we were all cheering each other on. I was like, there's no cameras, there's no taking pictures, it was just full, you look amazing in your body, you look phenomenal. And we were honest, we were like, nope, that one's not for you, that one's for you. Like, it was, so that was also great. And just I gave my lingerie speech about that I wear lingerie, this is basically like, it's a shirt, but it's basically lingerie, let's be honest. I mean, it looks like, but I gave...
That's the trend right now, yeah.
It is, but
yeah.
I always wore lingerie for myself.
Yep.
Meaning I don't buy lingerie for a man. I mean, not to say that that's not a great thing and that they're not, like, psyched. But, like, I don't think to myself in the day, I'm going to put on amazing lingerie because I'm going to have a date tonight. I put it on because I feel great for me. And I think that that's kind of my MO for all of it. It's like, nobody's going to be loved or if they don't love themselves. So I'm trying to like really create this movement of love and empowerment and kindness and sassiness and flirty and all of it, but just to get your zhuzh back. That's my motto, is get your zhuzh back.
Yeah. And I really love the name too, the Divorcee Doula, because I mean, I had a doula for my pregnancy and birth, but to have somebody support you and walk alongside you and support you in such a different way when you really need it, it's a beautiful thing. And I think the name is great. It's very clever. Yeah.
Thank you. I think,
so,
these big things in life, right? Birth, when you have your babies.
Yeah.
And then they have death doulas for when you're leaving this life. Mm-hmm. And I think divorce is one of those stages in life that is monumental and just needs a lot of help and guidance, getting your way through.
Yeah.
Do you think that like a field trip really helps these people connect with other people too and see they're not alone?
Yes, I think that is an amazing part of the field trips, because I do a lot of one-on-one, but these women, a lot of them have lost a lot of their friends, and I did. It's not that I lost them completely, but it's like they were coupled up, and so like Friday night,
it changes.
Yeah, the Friday night they're going out with couples, and I would feel like a third wheel, and so it's really nice to have divorced friends who you can say, let's go to the museum, or let's go to this night together, or let's do stuff. And it's nice to even have people that maybe don't know your history, don't know your ex, don't know the baggage that came with your marriage, but can just start fresh with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. And get to know you for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if people wanted to work with you and they find you on Instagram, are you doing most of these virtually, or is this all an in-person?
Everything. I'm working with people across the country on Zoom. I just got somebody from London, so now I'm working across Atlantic because I live in New York. And then I had somebody fly in from Detroit to work with me personally, one-on-one. And then I work with a lot of people in New York, one-on-one, for style sessions and decor sessions and flirty-gurdy sessions, and a lot of narrative work. The deep narrative work has become so important that I think that it's really great for a starting step before you even get to the point of the makeover.
Right, because the outside doesn't mean anything if you're not feeling it on the inside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that.
So when clients reach out to you, how long do you work with somebody?
It just depends. I give everyone, if it's a complete stranger, I give them a 10, 15-minute introductory free, let me tell you what I charge, let me tell you what this is about, where it came from, what this feels like, what are examples, and then they decide what services that they would like to do. So somebody can pick one, or somebody can say, I really want to work with you on a weekly basis. So now I have weekly clients who I have, I meet with every week on Zoom. And then when we have in-person sessions, we're doing, kind of different things of like a brand new hairstyle. And I go and I find, the greatest hairstylist in New York. Like all of my partners are super exclusive. And I think not in a snobbery way, but in a real way, that my life has been growing up as an adult, meaning like in my career in Hollywood, even though I live in New York.
Yeah.
And so my contacts are excellent in terms of beauty and fashion and all of that, from being a director. And so I access people who the normal person wouldn't be able to access, that they wouldn't have,
Right.
They wouldn't know to go to this person that cut Jennifer Lawrence's hair last week. And then I also put lookbooks together, and I think about somebody's face and think like, this would be the perfect hairstyle for you, and I work with the hairdresser. And same thing with styling, like I'll go all over town and outfits. I think about what is the greatest color for them, and eventually there are some people that are like really want that route towards dating again. And like that's what they're looking for. Other people have just been very kind of broken down and just need to feel lifted, to be able to look in the mirror and say, I feel beautiful.
Right.
And whether I have a date, whether I don't. I think my mother influenced me probably more than anyone else in my life. And my mother would always say, you have to dress for everything. She was born and raised in Guatemala. And if I was I went to UCLA Film School. My parents lived in New Jersey. So I'd fly back and forth a lot, like from California. And she'd always say, Susanna, you have to dress for the plane. You never know who you're going to meet on the plane. And, it's gone to that point where on planes, people are wearing like sweatpants, right? Like everybody's like wearing like Lululemon or like some, cozy thing. I never did it. I always dressed on a plane. I always dressed for the theater, which people have also gotten really lax about going to the theater and the ballet and all the. But I tell all my clients, when you're going to Whole Foods, put on some lipstick, for God's sakes. You have no idea who you're going to meet in the Malamar, organic Malamar aisle. There could be a great person waiting for you. Get that lipstick on and make sure that you've got something cute on that you feel good in. And they have been so awesome about like the stories that are coming back of like, I went to the, the coffee shop and I met a guy, like I felt better about myself. So it's just about lifting people up.
I love it. I want to backtrack a little bit and talk about the short film. Is it available anywhere to watch?
No, I do private screenings. Okay. We do groups of. We're done with the film festival circuit. And then we're holding it for because it's becoming a series. But we do private screenings. Like if if the podcast wanted to like host, we do kind of like we give a passcode for the screening, and they pay a small fee, and we have like a little Zoom reception kind of thing. So that is possible for you guys.
Yeah, and directing. What did you start first? Did you start directing or writing first? How did you kind of get into the filmmaking?
Writing. So
writing.
Always wanted to write and direct. I since I was a really young girl, I knew like 8, knew what I wanted to do. Started writing screenplays when I was 14. Was convinced. I wrote a screenplay for Eddie Murphy, and I was like, and he's going to star in it. And it's going to be fantastic. He's going to love it. I know he's going to want to do it. And I just was like on a track to get to UCLA Film School and make movies and write movies, which I did. I wanted to follow Francis Ford Coppola, who went there, and he was one of my heroes. So yeah, it was something I always wanted to do. And so at UCLA, I was a writing and directing major, but started out in terms of my career, got signed very early on at about 25 at CAA for writing. And at that point, which has seriously not changed that much, it was very much of a male business. Not to say that there isn't a lot of female directors, but statistically, it's just much less.
Yeah.
And I would keep selling these screenplays, and I would say, I want to direct. And they'd go, no, we're just going to buy it. We just want you to write. And then we're going to give it to so-and-so to direct. And that went on for years and years and years. And my agents would always tell me, just let go. It's going to be a big director, and it'll get made this way. And so many of my screenplays sat on a shelf. They were purchased, and they were in development, and they were with big stars, like from Julia Roberts on down, that got sold with big press, giant, articles written about the movies. And then something would happen that they would fall apart for one reason or another. And so finally with Gray Matters, I was with an agent who I love, and I said, Danny, I'm not doing it this time. He said, but this is a spec script. We're going to go out with it. There's going to be a lot of people bidding on it. You never know. We want the best sale. And I said, nope. We want the only person who's willing to take the risk on me directing Gray Matters. And if that's the lowest price, that's who you're going to take. And of course he was like, oh God. So that's what happened. And I got one bid for me to direct and about 10 for me not to direct. And that's what launched my professional directing feature career. And so I made Gray Matters, and I got Bridget Moynihan again, Tom Cavanaugh, Heather Graham, Molly Shannon, Alan Cummings, Sissy Spacek is my cast. We did all these test screenings that you do. I don't know if you guys know what those are, but you go to these theaters with like 4,000 seats, and everybody fills out a questionnaire on how they think it's going to do, and tested through the roof. So it got this big release worldwide, and it did not do well then. I got criticized to the nines that Heather Graham couldn't possibly be gay. That was why I was criticized, that she couldn't be gay. She's too pretty. And my sister's gay, and she's gorgeous, which is why I wrote it. And now we see everyone's gay. But it's not, there are beautiful gay women and men everywhere, and it's Heather now, it wouldn't be a big deal. And so when Gray Matters came out as a streamer feature on Amazon, all of a sudden I started getting all this new fan mail and great ratings of how fantastic, Heather Graham is gay, how cool, finally they're putting a mainstream actress as a gay girl. So it was a catch-22, but yeah.
Now it's finding its spot, apparently.
Yeah, right? New life.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
So you've done this film, it started into this business. Do you find yourself being inspired by your clients?
Very much so. Very much so. Because as much as I'm empowering them, seeing them rise like phoenixes is so inspiring. I have this client, first of all, she's a dream client because I'm a director and I'm type A and I'm OCD. So I love somebody who listens to directions. And this client listens to directions so beautifully that she Like, I can't believe how fast she listens to them. Like, what? It just is, why don't you do this, this, and that? And, like, the next day, she's like, I listened to what you did. I re-wallpapered my entire bedroom last night. Like, and I'm like, oh, my God. But she's one of my biggest inspirations because she had a tough marriage and a tough life in many ways. And I feel like where she is now at, I think she's around 49, 50. I think she's like the really, and I don't mean this just like cavalierly, I think the best is yet to come with her because I'm seeing her beauty just bloom. And I think it was just pushed down for so long, which is very common. And you start to believe that push. You start to believe you're not enough. And, everyone knows marriages. I was married for almost 20 years. Marriages have ebbs and flows, right? And after 20 years, most people don't have a great sex life. Let's be honest. It's not to say they don't have a great marriage. But it's not the same as when you first meet and you get that zhuzh and you got that, feeling. It's normal. Like, you go through the evolution of it. But when somebody's had a very disruptive, non-emotionally connected marriage for most of their marriage, and now is all of a sudden seeing what life can offer in their own self-worth, and to watch it is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And to watch also somebody just transform, and even the physical of that their haircut was like, kind of old school, and that they just kind of let themselves go, but then to kind of own it and say, you know what, I'm still here. I'm here. I'm relevant. I'm cool. I'm beautiful. I'm smart and intelligent and motivated, and all of those things to watch is incredibly, incredibly emotional and joyful, and just, I feel blessed, like, that I get to see it. I really do. I feel privileged that I get to watch these women rebirth.
I think that, women celebrating other women is just, it's such a beautiful thing when you can watch it happen, and how we can all inspire each other and lift each other up in good times and in bad times. So I really, really love what you're doing. And I'm curious, how do you think your background in directing and writing has helped you in this new business? Other than just telling them what to do.
Other than being very directorial. I think that I've always been a storyteller and a visualist, right? So I think that those tools together help with helping somebody rebirth. So first, if we take the story, everyone has a story. I mean, you think about even Joseph Campbell and the storytelling of, Joseph, how he talks about this, our stories, right? The myths that we tell ourselves. If you don't rewrite your story and start to think of it as something else, then it's programmed in your head as that's the story. So if your story, for example, is he left me, I'm alone, I'm raising a child alone, and I must be pretty worthless because he left me. And he's living a great life. He's with somebody else. He's madly in love. It must be me. Those are all things that we can tell ourselves, and our cells listen to it. All science shows that our stories, our cellular system listens, and it brings illness, and it brings all of these things. Cortisol, everything's up, right? But if you change the story, I help people with narrative work, that actually writing, what is the new story? Where were they? Where are they? And where are they going? and we do some very, very deep work that has to do with that. And that's a 3-act structure of a screenplay.
Right.
You know, there's a beginning, middle, and end of every screenplay, and there's 3 acts of every screenplay. So I do my work in act structures with somatic breathing. I was trained as a yoga teacher a very long time ago. And I use all of my modalities of breath work, writing, storytelling for that part. And then my directorial part is that I'm one of those directors that basically tells every, costume designer, like they come in to interview with me and they're like, so this is what we're seeing. Like Heather Graham's a great example. The costume designers came in, they said, so this is a portfolio that I put together of looks for Gray, was the name of her character, for Gray's looks. And I was like, oh my God, this is great. Let me show you mine. And they'd be like, what? I was like, yeah. So I did about 30 pages for Heather. And then for Bridget's character, and they were like, do you even need me? And I'd be like, no, we're going to work together. Don't worry. And I'm the same way with production design. Like, I'm like, as you can see, I think you can see, this wallpaper.
Yeah.
Was my fuck you wallpaper for my divorce. I have a fuck you chandelier and a fuck you wallpaper. And I love this wallpaper, but it's very particular. It's hand screened and that's me on a movie set as well. And so that I can also help people with design and writing a profile for a dating app. It's a story. You have to tell a concise, funny, engaging, flirty, interesting story that's authentic, right? But so many people write the most boring stories. So I help them with that. They also pick pictures that are like, what are you thinking? And the guys are the worst. And the guys are starting to help as well, which I want to do more than anything, because why are they holding fish? Why why do they think a dead fish holding it is going to say, yes, I want to date you? You're the guy.
That's exactly what my brother would put up if he was
I'm just going to say, I'm in the Midwest. Every male dating profile is
a fish.
In a boat with
And
a fish.
It's a fish. It's like a weird, like Freudian, the catch the day, like what is it? I have no idea what it is, but I'm like swipe left on the fish. Like get any guy who's picking up the big tuna or what, it's just the wildest thing. And they're everywhere. It's like, okay, fish. Another fish. Yep. So I will meet with guys and they'll show me their dating profiles and they'll go, I really want to meet somebody great. And I'll look and I'll say, let me read what you have to write, what you wrote on your profile. And they'll write something like, my favorite food is pizza. And I'm like, we have so much work to do together.
No,
if you're holding a fish and your favorite food is pizza and that's what you got on your profile, we're in trouble. So so I help people with that too, and it's been super successful in terms of people rewriting their profiles, taking better photos, and also in just encouraging people where to meet people that aren't on dating apps. But it's all part of my directorial storytelling skills.
When you take on a project, whether it's a film project or a person, I guess you could say, are you looking at this like a whole, do you see the whole picture right away? Or are you the type of person that it just comes as you are creating?
I look at everything. I'm like, I dream big. I dream super colorful. I dream like in this very visual sense. I have a branding agency that I do like logos and advertising campaigns for, and that is even still like a soup to nuts, like how to tell a brand story from a screenwriter's pen and a filmmaker's lens, because I really see a 360 kind of
Yeah.
thing. Even if I'm meeting somebody who's on the floor, like this quote unquote phase of divorce, I still see the whole picture. Like I can already cut to 6 months
Right.
from now and be like, she's going to be great. She's going to
Yeah.
look great.
So you have a very global vision about what needs to happen.
Sue, would you like to play a little favorites game with us?
I'm up for anything.
Okay. Do you have a favorite rom-com?
Totally. Love Actually.
Oh,
It's the best.
Yeah.
so good.
Isn't it
So
the
good.
best when he's holding
Right.
the signs?
The Sign.
Yes.
He
Yep.
does it like that.
Right? You're just
Ugh.
it's
So-
iconic for a reason because
Right.
I
It's
love it
just
so
so good.
much. It's the one that I could watch every Christmas, and
Yeah.
every time I watch it, I wish I directed and wrote it. It's
Right.
one of those.
Yeah. It is. It's brilliant. It always
you-
makes me tear up.
Love it.
right.
I
Do
have
you have a
many
favorite-
others, but that's my
That's your top one.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite series or something you're currently binging?
I love Nobody Wants This.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think it's fantastic with Kristen Bell.
Yep.
Have you seen it?
Oh
I
yeah.
have not.
Oh,
Fantastic.
you need to binge it.
Oh, Julie, you haven't seen it.
Uh-uh.
Oh yeah,
you-
you need to watch it. You'll like it.
Okay.
A romantic comedy, so great. In terms of the romantic comedy shows, I love that. In terms
Yeah.
of a comedy, I don't even know what I'd call it. Probably a comedy thriller. I love Bad Sisters.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've not seen it, but I keep hearing about it.
Oh,
yeah.
it's so good. I love Lupin, which is the French spy kind of, where he's like a Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
I think that's another amazing show. And I loved the first 3 seasons of Hacks. I'm having
Okay.
an issue with this one, but it'll come back because they're brilliant writers. But I really, really, really loved the first 3 seasons of Hacks. Yeah, those are some of them.
So I feel like you do not have time for a hobby, but do you have a favorite hobby?
I do swimming.
Okay.
So in the summer, I try to go to Cape Cod and I swim across these glacier ponds, and that's my really happy place.
Okay.
And I love kayaking and watercoloring and collaging. I
love that.
I love a do-it-yourself arts and crafts project, and I also love event planning. Like I'm doing my first from a friend, but she was one of my first Divorcee Doula clients, and she's getting married for the second time.
Oh.
And I'm not only her wedding planner with another gal, but I'm going to be the minister
Oh,
of
Oh.
her wedding, and I did her invitation. I'm doing her flowers. I'm designing the event, also with my friend Lisa. And but that's a hot I'm an event planner in another life, but I can only do it for really special people because I don't have time.
Yeah.
It's a very special friend.
I feel like planning an event must be kind of easy for you because
kind of
you've
is.
just got it all.
It's
yeah.
like production.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
On a smaller scale. Yeah.
exactly.
Honestly.
What a full circle moment for her. That's amazing.
yeah.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And she met the guy. Her number 2, her chapter 2 is the guy for her. It was meant to be. She was meant to have her children with her first husband because she's got phenomenal children. But this guy is her soulmate. Yeah,
Oh, you gotta love that. You gotta love that.
I know.
And then, do you have a favorite song, a musician or band?
Oh my goodness, so many. But whenever people ask me that, it's funny because I have so many. Really, I love music so much, but I immediately go to Carly Simon.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the reason why is my favorite soundtrack of all time is Let the River Run in Working Girl. of
Oh,
what
right.
she, that she sings, and it's like I can hear it. And I tried to work with her on. She was going to do the music on Gray Matters, and then something happened, but it was like she was too busy. But Carly kind of, I would say, scored my childhood because my parents
Right.
always played Carly, and so I would say she's in like really, really high up. But like Stevie Nicks, I love.
Yep.
I love Dave Matthews. I love. I love so many different types of music. From contemporary to Lady Gaga to, even like my daughter listening to Drake or, depending on who it is, but
Yeah.
I'm kind of an old school disco queen, who loves also the folk music and disco, kind of era. But that's
Right.
kind of my go-to when I'm like dancing in my underwear in my living room is a little Shaka Khan.
I mean, yeah.
Do you have a favorite Carly Simon song?
I'd say Let the River Run.
Yeah, Let the River Run. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got so many great songs. I just, like, literally, you could just do a playlist of her. So,
Yeah, I agree.
Have you gotten to see her live?
Not only, I'm so glad you asked that. Not only have I gotten to see her live, so we were trying to work together, and her son,
Yeah.
Ben Taylor, who's James Taylor, and her son. Ben has two
Yep.
songs of his on the Gray Matters soundtrack. Because I met Carly first, and it wasn't her schedule wasn't going to work out to do this real score of Gray Matters, which is what I wanted her to do. And then I met Ben, and we put two of his songs in Gray Matters. But Carly and I were speaking and trying to work it out, and she was nothing but gracious and phenomenal. And she said, I haven't done this in a really long time because everyone knows she has like stage fright, so she doesn't do big concerts. She said, but I'm kicking off a new album, and I'm doing like a little tiny press thing for the record label with 150 people at this little venue in New York City. And I was like, oh my God, you don't understand. And she's like, I could put you on the list +1. I called my middle sister, I have two sisters, and I said, and she's always the one who she lives in New Jersey, and I always have like the fun things to do, and I was like, would you like to be my date tonight at this event? She's like, oh, coming from New Jersey, it's going to be, I was like, Carly Simon private concert. And she was like, this tops everything. And I was like, so
Yes.
you're going to come, right? So she came, and not only did we watch, but when Carly started singing You're So Vain, she looked at me and my sister and she said, come do backup with me. And we did
no.
backup, and the New York Post ran a picture of us in the background with Carly Simon the next day. And Lisa, my sister, said, other than her children being born, it was the best day of her life.
Absolutely. Well, what a story.
honestly, sounds so amazing.
It was amazing. It was amazing. And I don't have a good
gosh.
voice. I was so terrified doing the background.
Right, but if she tells you to come sing, you go sing.
Totally was background. Her son was guitar next to her, and her daughter Sally was doing vocals, and she had her band, and we were right on, right over here. And the Post happened to like get literally us like as if we're hired background singers. But yeah, it was great. So yes, I have met her.
Well, that was an amazing answer to the music question.
I mean, I don't think anybody's ever topped that.
It was great. It was great.
Yeah, that is
singing
amazing.
back up on You're So Vain. How much, it really doesn't get much better.
Right.
No, not at all. Sue, tell everybody where they can find you on social media or your website.
Absolutely. So there's a few ways to find me. So there is Swipe.NYC on Instagram, which
Okay.
will keep everyone posted about the series, or if we're doing special screenings, or if there's a special film festival coming up. All of that is on Swipe NYC. Then there's
Okay.
Divorcee Doula on Instagram or divorceedoula.com. And it's divorcee with 2 E's, not divorce doula, divorcee doula.
Okay.
So you can find me on both of those platforms, and I always see who reaches out and is, trying to find me on both of those platforms.
Perfect.
And for prep,
With.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Sue, for joining us today. It was really fun to get to know you and to learn about, the million things that you're doing. We'll be following along for sure.
thank you so much. It was a pleasure to sit down with you guys.
Yes, come again sometime. Thank you, everybody, for watching or listening. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.